Hello and welcome to another Demon 212 WiiUWare review. I'll keep calling them that until I can find out what they're officially called, but for now I'm going to be taking a look at Mighty Switch Force Hyperdrive Edition, a game that I'm starting to loathe simply because I'm really struggling to actually get this review done, mention everything, show everything off that needs showing, etc. It's just one of those things. Every now and then a game comes along that I hate trying to review. I had troubles with it on the 3DS, but now I've got even more troubles because I've got to mention what's different between the 3DS and the Wii U, and it just pretty much triples everything I have to say. So anyway, I'll start by going into level 1. I'm then going to go into alternate level 1, which is called Hyper Level 1, and it's the new addition to the Wii U version. It's the reason why you're going to possibly be looking at buying this again if you've got it on the 3DS like myself, or the reason why it's a little bit more expensive, about £2.60 more expensive than the 3DS version if you haven't bought either yet and you're wondering, well, why does it warrant an extra £2.60? Well, it's because you get an extra 21 levels that are a hell of a lot harder than the original levels, as well as gorgeous HD graphics and fantastic music. Well, both have fantastic music, but fantastic music that comes through HD speakers now instead of through little 3DS speakers. I think the quality of the music sounds way better on this. So I will shut up for a little bit and let you listen to some music a bit later on in the video. Anyway, basic gameplay principles. You've got a health meter, which is over there in the top right. You can collect data discs, which give you more health. If you get crushed by your own stupidity or by just the game being hard, you'll go back to the last dog, who is your checkpoint. However, you only get 1 life per level, and that's it. So if you get hit 3 times, then you die, unless obviously you get more health. But for argument's sake, get hit 3 times, you die. Get crushed 3 times, you die. It's only when you get crushed that you'll go back to the checkpoint. So if you get hit by an enemy, then you just continue on. You've got a blaster, which works in a similar way to Mega Man, because you can't aim it up or down, it's just a simple case of left or right. You've got the ability to switch these blocks, which I've been doing and kind of mentioned. It's why it's called Mighty Switch Force. There's different types of blocks. There's ones that if you stand on the blocks, when you try to switch them, they won't actually switch. So see this here? It switched, I phased through. There'll be ones where you'll remain there, and that comes into the puzzle gameplay of it only does that when you're standing on them, so you've then got to work out how to do that part of the puzzle. So should you stand on them on like the ground level, on the middle level, things like that. You've got blocks that will launch you around the level, and you've got to get your timing right, so it'll launch you from A to B to C to D, and if you miss the slightest one, then you'll hit some spikes or you'll just die or something like that. It's a bit of a nightmare and one of those trial and error things that games love to do. You've got a whole multitude of enemies, including ones that you will have to fire through those launchers, like ones that can blow up walls and allow you to go through the newly opened section of wall to continue on with the level. You've got ones that can spit fire at you, you've got ones that swoop at you. There's just all sorts of different things. For now though, I'm going to take a little break to collect my thoughts while you watch some footage of Hyper Level 1, show you the differences and listen to the music.
Yummy! Justice served! Yummy! Checkpoint! Gotcha! Yummy! Yummy! Checkpoint! Checkpoint! Justice!
So that was a bit of the music. Back on to, well, gameplay things. As you might have noticed, I'm collecting 5 women. Basically, they're your prisoners, and you have to get them on every level. That's the goal of it, except for the one level where there's a boss, which is stage 16, because that was originally the end of the game, and then they added the 5 extra levels as DLC, and now they've added the 21 extra levels as a reason to buy it on the Wii U. Once you collect those 5 prisoners, you'll then have to get to the end of the level, which it'll be, well, it depends on where you are. Sometimes the end of the level is right where you are, because maybe you've set it up perfectly like that without even realising. Other times you'll have to get to it, and sometimes that's actually harder than working out how to get the prisoners. But you get to the robot, he's the end of the level, and that's it, you're done. Once you beat the 16 stages, you get a blaster pistol upgrade, which you can only use it on the levels that you've already beat, and it's to help you in the part-times, which is the other thing to mention. I'll put the blaster on, and then I'll put on level 16, because that's something else I need to mention and show off. But the part-times, basically, if you added them all up, the game barely lasts any time at all. For most people, though, getting to that part-time is going to take weeks, because that's the whole point of the difficulty. It's rock hard being able to beat the level in the part-time. Most people will be able to beat the game. It's not that difficult to be able to beat the game, minus this level and bonus stage 21, and then obviously hyper level 16 and hyper stage 21. And I'll get to that in a little bit, but you might have already been able to figure out because of looking at the screen. But for most people, other than those levels, the game's not actually that difficult. However, doing the level in such a perfectionist way that you get there in under 5 minutes in the case of this level, or under 2 minutes, or hell, under 40 seconds in some levels, it's just one of those things that's where the difficulty comes in, because you really can't make a mistake. I mean, on that stage there, you probably noticed my best time is 1 minute and 45 above the part-time, and it could take me ages to get past that point, because these levels are probably the 2 worst on the game, despite being the 2 hardest, and despite me loving hard games, because they're boring. You have to wait throughout the entire level about 3 to 5 seconds, depending on your viewpoint, because it blinks 3 times, but then it takes a couple seconds to start reset, and you can't switch. It switches automatically for you, so the majority of the level sees you waiting to be able to do something, either waiting to jump or waiting to set up. The whole levels are based around waiting, and they're incredibly boring because of that. It's the sort of thing that it really did annoy me playing them, especially because you then fail and you have to play them again, and you have to play them again and again, and it's just one of those things. Though there's only 2 of them, 4 of them technically, because of the hyper, and they don't ruin the game or anything. They're just definitely a downgrade as far as I'm concerned. But there's pretty much very little else to say. I mean, there is the fact that the fact that I should probably mention, I've got a PlayStation Vita, as many of you know. They've probably seen the reviews, and for a long time I've wondered how Nintendo were going to handle re-releasing games that you've already bought on other systems, and unfortunately I don't think they've done a very good job with it, because don't get me wrong, this game is fantastic. If you haven't played it already, you need to go out and buy it, either on the 3DS or the Wii U preferably. It's worth the extra cash because of all the extras you get. However, anyone with a Vita and a PS3 already knows what I'm about to say here. The fact that you have to buy it again is a little bit of an insult and slap in the face, because at the end of the day, you already own the game. So buying it again, especially for the extra price, might not be to everyone's... Well, you mightn't be able to afford it, you mightn't be able to want to do it, whereas instead, with many a Vita game, you actually get the PlayStation version, or vice versa, the PlayStation game, you get the Vita version for completely free. Even full retail games like PlayStation All-Stars, you can buy that for £30 on the Vita or £40 on the PS3. If you buy it for £40 on the PS3, you get the Vita version for free. So 70 quid's worth of games for 40 quid. And it would have been nice to have, even if they just said, right, pay the extra £2 odd to get the extra features and then you can upgrade. Even that would have been really cool of them to do, but it's a bit of a shame because, as I say, not everyone's going to want to buy the game again, and it then probably means that this isn't going to have the sales that it should have because it's a fantastic title, and it's probably then going to be a sign of what games we should expect to come, because watch them try and play the logic that maybe they should only be releasing shovelware crap because that's what sells, when actually it's a load of their best games like Mutant Mudds and this and that Neo Assault that I've already reviewed. There's already versions of them on the 3DS that people probably think, well, I don't want to buy them again. But that's an argument for a different day on probably a different video. All I can pretty much say is to reiterate that if you haven't played this game at all, you really need to try it. It's just an absolutely fantastic title. It's one of the best downloads that I've ever played. I love the Mighty games. I'd love to see other Mighty games come in HD versions, albeit probably with a bit of a cheaper price point. And to be fair, at the moment, the WiiForward game, I think the majority of WiiForward fans want most on the VCs and eShops and that, is Shantae on the Game Boy VC for the 3DS. To be fair, there is one other little thing I suppose I can mention. It's for people who are wondering how the game kind of works in the way of the gamepad and that. You get a radar screen on the bottom which kind of points you in the vague direction of where you need to go. However, it's not really needed because you can probably notice that little blue arrow on my screen that does the same thing. It brings your hearts up and your time and how many prisoners you've captured. So again, so far all information that is appearing on the TV. You can, however, play the game on just on this, so you can hit start and then you can swap the display over. So I've now got the full game on the hand, like the portable part. So it's that feature. A lot of people seem to be slating it at the moment, saying, "Oh, how original!" But personally, it's one of the reasons to buy a Wii U. Surely the fact that you can play games whilst not looking at the TV, which sometimes you need to be able to do that. You can also, however, if you don't want to use the gamepad at all, play using the Pro controller and the Classic controller. So there we go then. That's been the review. I hope you found it helpful. I don't score the games because that's based purely on opinion, so instead I'll leave you to make your own mind up. So thanks for watching, and if you've got any questions about the game that I didn't answer in the vid or that hasn't been answered in the comments, then feel free to ask and I'll help if I can. Also, if you did find it helpful, don't forget to check out my channel because there's plenty more like this up there, and don't forget to subscribe because there'll be plenty more to come as well. So until next time, this has been Demon212, signing off.